We hired Ellucian actually to come on site for a week. They trained our people on how to do transformations ourselves. I will add that was a very successful experience. The feedback I got from my staff was excellent. My name is Debbie Fulton. I'm the Associate Vice President for Enterprise Systems at Virginia Tech. So at Virginia Tech, we are a longtime Banner school. We've been on Banner for, in some cases, more than 20 years. We had accumulated lots of our own forms, lots being somewhere in the neighborhood of between 400 and 500, leaning more towards 500. The first problem that we had was actually what I started calling the inventory. We didn't really know what the whole list was. Then once we had the list, then we wanted to know, do really all of those have to go to Banner 9? So we looked at the 400 to 500 and figured out that about 25% of those we could get rid of. So that was a big plus right off the bat. I contacted Ellucian Services and our account manager and started talking to them about getting some help. Because our problem was, if we added up all of the hours, we didn't have extra staff sitting around that could produce all that work in a reasonable amount of time. And we didn't think that was really a good plan, even if we had had the staff. So we pretty much divided the forms into, I'll say, 3 kind of buckets. First bucket of ones that were really, really simple. We kind of decided that was like 10 hours or less that it would take to convert a form. So for those, we kept them in-house because they would transform so quickly, it didn't make sense to pay Ellucian to do the work. And then the middle bucket was kind of those that were medium-sized. And then there were extra large. So the large ones we also kept in-house, and all the rest went to Ellucian. So it turned out we kept overall about 1/4 of the forms and about 3/4 went to Ellucian. And for each of the modules, we had a timeline for, we would send them in, they would start working on them, they would return them to us, we would have a time to test. If we found a problem, we would send them back. And so we fast forward to actually now, and we have gotten the last of the forms back from Ellucian. So the process has really been successful from my perspective. Most of the forms were right the first time. Of the ones that we had to return, usually that only happened once. So our overall experience was really good with the services engagement.